We will continue in this demo to work with the SP Farm and its SP Services collection, but we'll delve further into the object model and start accessing SP Web Application sites and SP Web Objects. So I've just added a block of code that determines whether the SVC or the service object is actually a type of SP web service. And if it is, then we know that it has potentially web applications and SP sites and SP web objects contained within it. So we can iterate through the web applications collection of the service and add a node to the tree for each web application. And then, as we saw in a previous demo, the web application has an SP sites collection, or a collection of SP site objects. So we can iterate through each SP site and add a node to the tree as appropriate for those. We turn catch access denied exception off, so that if we come across a site that we don't have access to, we're not redirected to the Sharepoint access denied page. We just will not render the link. So we do our security trimming that way. Then for each SP list object in the root web of the site collection, we will iterate through the list and add a tree node for each list. We will then add a node for each subweb. So we have a function called addWebs that does that for us, and the reason we encapsulate this out into its own function is that we can then call that recursively, because our structure is such that an SP site will have a root web that may have a subweb and further subwebs underneath that. So we'll iterate through each list and then recursively call addWebs. So in this way we will document the entire hierarchy of our SP farm. So let's build and deploy our solution. And let's go back to our hierarchy viewer application page and hit the refresh button. It takes a few seconds for the page to refresh because we've just recycled the application pool by retracting and redeploying a solution. Now when the page does refresh, we can see that we have some tree nodes now that are expandable. So we have our primary node for our first web application that contains two site collections, SharePoint AT and the intranet.contoso.com site. Now we have the root web of intranet.contoso.com, and the site is actually called intranet and has all of these lists, so announcements, calendars, links and so forth. But that root web also has two subwebs, Human Resources Web and Project Management. So these get populated by our recursive call to our addWebs function. And furthermore, Project Management has even one more subweb called Financials. So our code will keep recursing until we run out of webs effectively. Now, the other web application was the site, basically the central administration web app. So we can see that we have two site collections in there, the central admin and the product help site. So we've iterated through all of the objects in the farm effectively, each service, and then if that service was a type of SP web service, we've iterated through its SP web applications. And for each web application, we've iterated through the collection of SP site objects. And for each SP site object, we've documented the lists in the root web and then recursively documented the subweb and all of its subwebs. And we've added it to the tree.